we have seen the material dielectric constant properties of a board for a different board types like FR4, Isola, and Roger, Agitech kind of thing. Now, already there is a loss that is occurred due to the dielectric absorption of these materials. So, what you have to target is you should select a low loss material, or you have to go for a shorter reach or shorter traces that must be considered, because additional conductor losses are expected from traces discontinuity or trace discontinuities and skin effects, vias, and connector assemblies that may be present in the transmission path. So here you are looking up different various material, as I discussed, typically like FR4, GTEC, Isola, Nelco, or Rogers, with this dielectric constant, where FR4 has a typical of 4, and we should say an Isola FR408 as example, it has a 3.70, the dielectric constant is less, and respect to that you have a loss tangent. So loss tangent is the observation of the signals. That's what it takes. It is also the measure of a signal loss of a signal. So by this table we can see that if you are going for a high speed design, you should also see that what the target frequency you are targeting. Based upon that, how well you can go and select the board material with respect to FR4 or Isola on aspects of dielectric constant and the loss tangent for the targeted frequencies. Suppose you are designing a board which has 10 gigabits signal frequency running, and it requires a maximum reach of 40 inches, and selecting a material like Nelco 4000 EP material. As per this, the Nyquist frequency is 5 gigahertz for a 10 gigabits per second data rate. Now, the loss that is duly solely is due to the dielectric observation of material, resulting into signal attenuation. Supposing for a signal to properly receive, so in this case, the signal loss is already consumed by the material dielectric, because the dielectric material that is selected and the material signal is lost because of the absorption of the dielectric material. So a low loss or lower loss or shorter reach that must be considered in order to mitigate this, and that is because due to the additional factors like conductor losses that are expected from trace discontinuities, skin effects, vias, and connector assemblies that may be present in the transmission path. So in a table we discuss on the normalized material and its cost comparisons. So there are, as the material groups, we have FR4 and with respect to reliability or high speed or low losses or high frequencies, and high speed, very low loss or high frequencies kind of thing. And as you can group your materials. Then based on that, the vendor specific material of board can be selected like Nelco, Isola example. For example, if you say an FR4 material cost factor will also be multiple. Suppose if you take an FR4 material and you have a cost factor of 1, and suppose the same thing if you're going for high speed and low loss Isola FR408, the cost factor doubles are almost 1.8. Fiberglass view composition. The fiberglass views are typically classified into different glass styles based on the yarn count and the type of the fiberglass yarn used. Now here you can see some of the examples of yarn count and of the V's that are typically there for different boards, from more space to tighter yarns that is there on the right hand side. So the tighter the view netting, the more uniform the dielectric constant, and the loose views that will result in less uniform dielectric constant in the PCB laminate, and which can cause the trace impedances variations and the propagation skews in tightly matched signals, such as differential pairs that directly reference the wave. Skin effect. In addition to the dielectric absorption, signal attenuations can also occur due to the resistance or resistive losses from the channels, as channel resistance is a function of the frequency. However, as a frequency increases, the resistive channel loss increases because current will flow towards the surface of the copper traces. The skin effect reduces the cross-sectional area of the channel and increases the channel resistance. So countering to this effect, typically that requires widening the traces width to increase the effective surface area. The extent of the trace width required usually entails calculating the skin depth, because most of the current is limited by the skin depth. PCB stack-up design. The goal of any PCB stack-up design is to select the material and specify the layer orderings such that it is adequately delivers the required signal performance and the power integrity at the lowest PCB cost. So once you have the selecting the appropriate PCB material, you have to consider some of the following issues to design the layer stack-up. Like first would be your layer count. The layer count, like total number of layers that is required in a design, is dependent on the complexity of the board. Now these factors that would include the number of signal nets that must be break out from the ball grid array BGA devices, and the number of power planes or ports, and the component density and type of packages for those components. Typically, the larger the BGA devices, breakouts, and individual power or ground plane requirements determine the final board layer count. So, for example, in FPGA boards, the FPGA devices in many cases is usually the largest BGA devices on the board, and thus determines the board's minimum layer count. Signal layers, microstrip signal topology. So in any stripline construction, the signal stripline technology uses plane signal plane, PSP, this is used in order to provide the best signal isolation, but it requires more layers for complete signal isolations. So as a result, the more commonly used stripline constructions is the dual stripline. Like example, suppose you have plane signal plane topology, that would result in more efficient layer usage, but care must be observed to not manage the adjacent layer coupling. This coupling is usually reduced in the stack-up design by increasing the adjacent signal to signal separation compared to the signal to plane separation. So doing this forces the majority of the return current along the reference plane directly above or below the signal instead of one to the adjacent signal layer. However, having a large separation will add to overall thickness of the boards. This can impact the standard board manufacturing aspect ratio of the wire drill to the board thickness, say if it is larger than 10:1 ratio. So the signal plane topology, a signal plane that places the signal layer on the surface of the PCB, either top or bottom, with a reference plane layer directly adjacent to the signal layer. About topology, the difference between the ER, dielectric constant of the air on one side, and the dielectric constant of the dielectric material on other side causes odd and even more trace velocity differences that results in far-end crosstalk in differential pair routing. So one of the way to mitigate the situation is when using a microstrip routing is to use an embedded microstrip where a thin layer of epoxy or solder marks is added over the surface to make the dielectric constant more uniform.